Welcome to my channel. Today's topic is brain transforms now. In this very moment, 100 billion neurons are firing in your brain, creating patterns of electricity that give rise to your thoughts, emotions, memories, and dreams. Each neuron connects to thousands of others, forming a network more complex than all the computers on earth combined. And here is the miraculous truth. This network is not fixed, it is not predetermined, it is alive, dynamic, and infinitely capable of transformation. You have been told that the brain you were born with is the brain you must live with. You have been taught that intelligence is fixed, that personality is permanent, that the patterns of thinking you developed in childhood are unchangeable. But neuroscience has revealed something extraordinary. Your brain is constantly rewiring itself, reshaping its connections, creating new pathways based on how you choose to use your mind. Today, we explore the revolutionary understanding that your brain is not just the organ of consciousness, it is consciousness itself, expressing its infinite creativity through neural networks that responds to your intentions, adapt to your experiences, and transform in alignment with your deepest aspiration. The plastic brain revolution. Until recently, scientists believed that the adult brain was essentially fixed, that you are born with a certain number of neurons that could only decline with age. This belief created a prison of limitation in our understanding of human potential. If the brain could not change, then neither could we. But groundbreaking research has shattered this myth completely. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize and form new neural connections, operate throughout your entire lifetime. Your brain is literally sculpting itself moment by moment based on your thoughts, experiences, and conscious attention. When you learn a new skill, your brain creates new neural pathways. When you practice meditation, the regions associated with attention and emotional regulation actually becomes thicker. When you engage in acts of compassion, the areas linked to empathy physically expand. Your thoughts are not just chemical reactions in your brain, they are architects building the very structure of your consciousness. And also, rebuilding the very structure of your consciousness for the elevation of humanity. This transformation happens with remarkable speed. The many taxi drivers, it may be in every country or any state, it may be irrespective of the city, we who must memorize the city's complex street layout, developed enlarged hippocampi, the brain region responsible for spatial memory. Musicians show expanded motor and auditory cortices. Even after just 8 weeks of meditation practice, brain scans reveal measurable changes in areas associated with learning, memory, and emotional regulation. What this means is revolutionary. You're not trapped by your past programming. The neural patterns that create anxiety, depression, limiting beliefs, or destructive habits can be literally rewired. Your brain is waiting for new instructions, ready to forge fresh pathways that support the person you wish to become. Every time you choose a new thought over an old one, every time you respond with awareness instead of reacting from conditioning, every time you practice a new skill or embrace a different perspective, you are actually reshaping your brain. You are the sculptor and the sculpture, the artist and the masterpiece. The implications extended far beyond individual transformation. If human brains are this malleable, then human potential is far more vast than we have ever imagined. What we call intelligence, creativity, wisdom, and even consciousness itself are not fixed gifts distributed randomly at birth. They are capacities that can be developed, enhanced, and expanded through conscious practice. The neuroscience of transformation. Your brain contains specialized cells called neurons that communicate through electrical impulses and chemical messages. When you have a thought, specific neural pathways light up in distinctive patterns. When you repeat that thought, those pathways become stronger, more efficient, more automatic. This is how habits form, both helpful and harmful ones. But here is what changes everything. Neurons that fire together, wire together. This fundamental principle of neuroscience means that you can literally rewire your brain by consciously choosing which thoughts to think repeatedly. When you practice gratitude, you strengthen neural networks associated with appreciation and joy. When you cultivate compassion, you enhance circuits linked to empathy and connection. The process is both elegant and precise. Each time you focus your attention on positive possibilities rather than dwelling on problems, you are literally carving new grooves in your brain tissue. Each moment you choose love over fear, peace over anxiety, trust over doubt, you're strengthening neural pathways that make those states more accessible in the future. Your brain also produces new neurons throughout your life, a process called neurogenesis. These fresh brain cells are like blank slates ready to be programmed with whatever experiences and intentions you provide. Exercise stimulates neurogenesis, learning promotes it, meditation accelerates it, even positive emotions trigger the birth of new neurons in areas associated with memory and emotional processing. But perhaps most remarkably, your brain can literally change its structure based on visualization alone. When you vividly imagine performing a skill, the same neural networks activate as when you actually perform it. This is why Olympic athletes spend hours mentally rehearsing their routines. They are training their brains as much as their bodies. This neural malleability responds not just to what you do, but to what you believe. The placebo effect demonstrates that belief itself can trigger healing responses in the brain and body. When patients believe they are receiving effective treatment, their brain produces real neurochemical changes that promote recovery, even when they are only taking sugar pills. Your expectations literally rewire your neural networks. When you believe change is possible, your brain creates a biological conditions for transformation to occur. When you expect positive outcomes, your neural patterns align to make those outcomes more likely. Your brain is not just processing your reality, it's actively creating it based on the information you feed it through your thoughts, beliefs, and attention. Rewiring emotional patterns. Your emotional patterns are not permanent features of your personality. They are learned neural networks that can be consciously transformed. Every feeling you experience repeatedly carves deeper pathways in your brain, making that emotional state more likely to arise in similar situations. If you grew up in an environment where anxiety was common, your brain likely developed robust neural networks for worry and fear. If criticism was frequent in your childhood, you may have strong pathways for self doubt and negative self talk. These patterns feel automatic because they are literally hardwired into your neural architecture. But here is the liberating truth. These same networks can be rewired through conscious practice. When you choose to respond to triggers with awareness rather than reactivity, you begin weakening old pathways while strengthening new ones. Each time you pause before reaching emotionally or reacting emotionally, you are literally reshaping your brain's emotional circuitry. The key lies in what neuroscientists call response flexibility. The gap between stimulus and response, where conscious choice becomes possible. In that secret pause, you have the power to select which neural pathway to activate. Will you choose the well worn path of old conditioning or forge a new trail towards greater wisdom and emotional freedom? Meditation is perhaps the most powerful tool for emotional rewiring. When you observe your thoughts and feelings without immediately identifying with them, you are developing what researchers call cognitive flexibility, the ability to shift between different mental states at will. Regular meditation literally shrinks the amygdala, the brain's alarm center, while strengthening the prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for conscious decision making. Mindfulness practice teaches your brain to recognize emotions as temporary neural events rather than permanent aspects of your identity. When you can observe anger without becoming angry, notice sadness without being overwhelmed by sadness, witness fear without being paralyzed by fear, you develop emotional mastery that will revise your entire nervous system. The process requires patience and persistence. Old neural pathways don't disappear overnight. They must be gradually weakened through disguise, while new pathways are strengthened through repetition. But with consistent practice, you can literally transform your emotional landscape, developing greater resilience, deeper peace, and more authentic joy. The learning brain in action. Your capacity to learn and grow extends far beyond your school years. It continues throughout your entire lifetime, limited only by your willingness to engage with new experiences and challenging yourself mentally. Every time you learn something new, your brain undergoes physical changes that enhances its overall function and connectivity, and also creates a delimitation within your brain. That's why you can never identify what's good, what's bad, even if the good comes in your favor. Learning a musical instrument creates new connections between brain hemispheres and strengthens area responsible for fine motor control and auditory processing. Studying a foreign language enhances cognitive flexibility and delays age-related mental decline. Even simple activities like solving puzzles, reading complex text, or engaging in meaningful conversation stimulates neural growth and connectivity. The brain thrives on novelty and challenge. When you expose yourself to new environments, ideas, and experiences, you're literally feeding your brain the stimulation it needs to stay vibrant and adaptable. Routine and familiarity, while comfortable, can lead to neural stagnation. Your brain needs fresh input to continue creating new pathways and maintaining its plasticity. But learning is not just about acquiring information, it's about transforming your neural architecture in ways that enhance your overall capacity for consciousness. When you challenge yourself to understand complex concepts, engage with different perspectives, or master difficult skills, you're strengthening your brain's ability to process information, solve problems, and adapt to changing circumstances. The most profound learning happens when you connect new information to personal meaning and emotional significance. When you study something you care deeply about, when you learn skills that align with your values, when you explore ideas that inspire your imagination, your brain creates richer, more durable neural networks that integrate knowledge with wisdom. This process continues to benefit you longer after the initial learning period. The neural flexibility you develop through challenging your brain in one area transfers to other domains of your life, making you more adaptable, creativity, and resilient in all your endeavors. Consciousness shaping matter. At the deepest level, your brain reveals a profound truth that consciousness and matter are not separate entities, but different expressions of the same underlying reality. Your thoughts are not just electric activity or electrical activity in your brain. They are consciousness using neural networks to explore its own creative potential. Never ever believe that if somebody says you can't do it, never ever accept it in the perspective of their own consciousness. When you understand this relationship, you begin to work with your brain as a partner rather than seeing yourself as a victim of your neural programming. You realize that you have the power to consciously direct your brain's plasticity towards outcomes that serve your highest good and deepest aspirations. Intentions becomes a powerful force for neural transformation. When you set clear intentions for how you want to think, feel, and respond to life, you provide your brain with specific blueprints for rewiring. Your neural networks begin organizing themselves around these intentions, creating the biological foundations for the changes you seek. Visualization exercises this conscious influence with remarkable precision. When you repeatedly imagine yourself embodying the qualities you wish to develop, confidence, compassion, creativity, peace, your brain begins building the neural infrastructure necessary to make these qualities more natural and accessible. The process works because your brain cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. Both activate the same neural networks, strengthen the same pathways, and create the same biological changes. This is why athletes who combine physical training with mental rehearsal perform better than those who rely on physical practice alone. Your daily mental diet shapes your neural reality just as surely as your food diet shapes your physical body. Consuming negative news, engaging in pessimistic thinking, or dwelling on past hurts creates neural patterns that predispose you to anxiety, depression, and stress. Conversely, focusing on gratitude, possibility, and love builds neural networks that support well being, optimism, and resilience. The power to reshape your brain lies entirely within your conscious choice about where to direct your attention, what thoughts to think repeatedly, and which neural pathways to strengthen through practice. You are not a passive recipient of whatever thought happens to arise. You are an active director of your own neural symphony. Living with transformative awareness. As you integrate this understanding of neural plasticity into your daily life, you begin to live with the exciting awareness that every moment offers an opportunity for positive brain change. Each conscious breath, each mindful response, each loving thought is literally reshaping your neural landscape in real time. This knowledge transforms how you approach challenges and setbacks. Instead of seeing difficulties as evidence of fixed limitations, you recognize them as opportunities to develop new neural pathways of resilience and wisdom. Every problem becomes a workout for your brain's adaptability. Every mistake becomes a chance to strengthen circuits for learning and growth. You begin to treat your brain with the respect and care it deserves as your most precious tool for transformation. You nourish it with quality sleep, regular exercise, and proper nutrition. You challenge it with new learning and creative activities. You protect it from toxic thoughts and negative influences that could reinforce limiting neural patterns. Most importantly, you develop patience with the process of change. Neural rewiring takes time, practice, and persistence. Old patterns may resurface periodically, but you understand this as failure as part of the natural process rather than evidence of failure. That's what I mean to say. Each time you choose awareness over automaticity, you're making deposits in the neural bank account of your transformation. Now let's understand the empowerment and possibility. The brain in your head is the most sophisticated creation in the known universe, and it belongs to you. More than that, it responds to you. It adapts to your intentions, transforms according to your practices, and evolves in alignment with your consciousness. You're not stuck with the neural patterns you inherited or developed in your past. You're not limited by old conditioning or previous programming. Your brain is alive, dynamic, and ready to support whatever version of yourself you choose to become. Every day, your neural networks are either strengthening patterns that serve you or reinforcing patterns that limit you. The choice is yours. Will you remain unconscious and allow old programmings to run automatically, or will you take conscious control of your brain's remarkable plasticity? The transformation begins with a single decision to become an active participant in your own neural new evolution. From this moment forward, you can approach every experience as an opportunity to rewire your brain towards greater wisdom, love, creativity, and joy. Your brain is not just ready for transformation, it's designed for it. Neuroplasticity is not a medical anomaly or a rare gift reserved for a chosen few. It's your birthright as a conscious being, your tool for endless evolution, your pathway to unlimited potential. Brain transforms now, not somewhere, someday in the future, not after years of struggle, now in this moment, with your next conscious thought, your next mindful breath, your next choice to see possibility where you once saw limitation. The revolution in your consciousness begins with the recognition of your brain's infinite capacity for positive change. Trust this capacity, believe it with conviction and also with confidence. Use it consciously. Let it transform not just your neural networks, but your entire experience of being alive in this miraculous universe of endless possibilities. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next video.